Shalom Yaladim, Mora Marni here. So today we're going to talk about our Parshat HaShavua, Parshat Shlach Lcha. So in Parshat Shlach Lcha, we have all the Jewish people in the desert, in the Midbar Sinai. We are ready to enter Eretz Yisrael, and everyone is very excited. And Yaladim, do you have Emunah in Hashem? Emunah. Emunah is when you believe in Hashem and when you trust Him. Like when we trust that Hashem tells us something, of course He's going to do what He says, right? We all have Emunah in Hashem. Every Yid has Emunah in Hashem. And Bitachon. Bitachon is confidence that Hashem will help. That's natural for Yidden. But unfortunately, in the desert at this time, some of the Yidden forgot about their Emunah and their Bitachon in Hashem. They didn't feel it. They felt very nervous and worried. And some of the people began talking, is Eretz Yisrael really as beautiful as Hashem says? Is it as special as Hashem says? He's going to give us Eretz Yisrael as our special land. But can we trust that it's really right for us? Now, Yaladim, of course we would say, please trust Hashem, have Emunah, have Bitachon in Hashem. He said that this is our land, Eretz Yisrael, and it's the best place for us, the best place in the world. But some of the Yidden were still very nervous and worried. And so they went up to Moshe Rabbeinu and they said to him, Moshe Rabbeinu, will you please send Meraglim to check out the land? Now, Meraglim means spies. The Meraglim would be spies. And what are spies? Do you know what a spy is? I think that some of you do. A spy is somebody who sneaks around and watches things and observes, and they're not noticed. And they're just watching to see what happens. And then they usually come back and tell someone what they saw. So some of the Jewish people said to Moshe Rabbeinu, send Meraglim. Let them go sneak into Eretz Yisrael and look at it, spy it out, and see if it's really good. Now Moshe really didn't like that idea. He said, we don't need to. Why do we even need to spy it out to see if it's good? We know it's good. Hashem is sending us there. But the people would not stop bothering him about it. So he said to Hashem, Hashem, should I send Meraglim? And Hashem said, Moshe, do what you want. I didn't ask for Meraglim, but do what you want. So Moshe decided, okay, the people want Meraglim, at least some of them do. Let's send them Meraglim. Let's send them to Eretz Yisrael. So Moshe Rabbeinu picked out 12 great tzaddikim, one from every shevet. These were the greatest tzaddikim of Bnei Israel. And one of them was named Yehoshua ben Nun. His name was Hoshea ben Nun, and that was Moshe's special eved, his special Talmid, who would always spend time with him because he loved Moshe so much and he loved Hashem so much. He always wanted to learn from Moshe. So Moshe gave him a special bracha, and he said, your name will no longer be Hoshea ben Nun. From now on, I will add a yud to it. The yud is from Hashem's name, and your name will be Yehoshua ben Nun, because Hashem will be protecting you, especially in case the Meraglim do things that they shouldn't. And another man's name was Kalev ben Nun. He was a great tzaddik. And Yehoshua ben Nun and Kalev ben Yefunah, Kalev ben Yefunah and Yehoshua ben Nun, they were like very close to each other. And the other 10 spies, the other 10 Meraglim were also part of the Jewish people. But Yehoshua ben Nun and Kalev ben Yefunah had a special relationship. And so they started into Eretz Yisrael. They started sneaking in to Eretz Yisrael to see what they could see. And they walked in, they noticed some things that were quite amazing. I'm going to show you the picture in the book. I'm not going to say that it really shows us what it looked like. This is like a map of Eretz Yisrael. It's showing big walls. I don't know if you can see walls and big houses and big buildings. Because in the land of Canaan at that time, Eretz Yisrael it was going to be, and it was now being named Eretz Yisrael, but of course it was called Canaan at the time, there were giants in the land. And they had huge walls to protect their cities. And I'm going to show you some of the people were really anakim, mamish anakim. And when the Meraglim passed by, they noticed that these Meraglim looked at them like they were grasshoppers, not like they were people. They felt like grasshoppers. That's how small they felt. But you want to know something? Hashem was protecting them because Hashem made those giants, the Anakim, very busy when they were digging. They had reasons to dig. They were doing a lot of digging. And so they didn't really notice the Meraglim. Hashem caused that to happen to protect the Meraglim. But the Meraglim were like, oh my gosh, these people are so big. They look very dangerous. And the walls of the city, they look huge. They began getting very worried. How can we conquer this place? How can we go in and make it ours with these kind of people there? And Caleb ben Yefunah was so worried about their attitude that he went to daven at the place at Me'arat HaMachpelah, at the special cave where Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov are buried, Me'arat HaMachpelah. He went to daven. And Caleb ben Yefunah said, please Hashem, save me from the ideas of the Meraglim. Let me be away from those ideas. So Yoshua ben Nun and Caleb ben Yefunah had kind of a protection away from those ideas, but the other Meraglim were very worried by what they saw. And then they saw something amazing. Okay, first I want to show you something. Ma ze yeladim? Banana. Nachon? Banana. Ma ze? Tapuach. Nachon? Tapuach. And ma ze? Anavim. So yeladim, they look like very nice fruits, right? Perot, yafot. Very nice and plump and good. But I want to tell you that the fruits in Eretz Yisrael, the perot, were mamish completely different. They were huge, huge. They never did the Yidden ever see fruit this big. I will show you a picture. These are people holding a rimon. That is one pomegranate, and that grapes. Does you see how big those anavim are? I'm going to show you a color picture now. I love this picture. You recognize the fruits in this picture? See who's holding the rimon? And see who's holding the anavim. It takes not only one person to hold the anavim. It takes like 4. That's how big one bunch of grapes were. They were giant. Boy, didn't Hashem create something very special in Eretz Yisrael for Bnei Israel. That the fruits would be like one grape, one single grape. Like one grape would be enough to feed like 10 people. Can you imagine what kind of a land they were going into? So the Meraglim said, let's take back some of these perot. Let's take them and show Bnei Israel. So they took the perot. 4 or 5 or maybe 6 people holding the grapes. Someone had a fig. Someone had a rimon. But they didn't have a good idea about it. And Caleb ben Yefunah and Yoshua ben Nun knew that this was not good. They weren't going back to say, look how amazing Eretz Yisrael is. Look at how the fruits can feed like hundreds of people on one bunch of grapes. No. So they went back to Moshe and to Bnei Israel. They snuck out of Eretz Yisrael and they went into the desert and they found the people. And the people said, well, what did you find? And Moshe was standing there too. Tell us a report. And so they began speaking. And they said, do you see these giant fruits? Well, guess what? The people there are also giants. They're anakim. They're giants. And they're so powerful they could step on us. We were like grasshoppers. We were like teeny tiny bugs to them. We cannot win over them. They will kill us. Oh no, what a disaster. Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't believe what he was hearing. And Caleb ben Yefunah said, wait, let me say something about Eretz Yisrael. And everyone was quiet. And Caleb ben Yefunah said, don't you remember all the things Moshe Rabbeinu has done for us? He brought us out of Mitzrayim. He split the sea for us. He took us safely on dry land. He took us to Har Sinai, and Hashem gave us his Torah and his Aseret HaDibrot. Don't you think that Moshe and Hashem will bring us into Eretz Yisrael and we will take the land easily? This is from Hashem, people. Do you think Bnei Israel listened to Caleb ben Yefunah and to Yoshua ben Nun? Or do you think Bnei Israel listened to the other 10 Meraglim? To think about that for a minute. We would like to think we would listen to Yoshua ben Nun and Caleb ben Yefunah, not those other Meraglim that said we can't win, we can't ever get Eretz Yisrael, chas v'shalom. But unfortunately, sadly, the people listened to the Meraglim. And they started crying and screaming and saying, why did you take us out of Mitzrayim? Hashem, Moshe, we should have stayed in Mitzrayim. At least we would be safe. Oh no, now we're all going to die going into Eretz Yisrael. And our children too, they'll be in danger. Oh no. Oh, Yeladim, it was a disaster. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know what to do. Yoshua ben Nun didn't know what to do. Caleb ben Yefunah didn't know what to do. It was so sad that the people didn't have Emunah and Bitachon in Hashem and in Moshe Rabbeinu, Avdo, his servant. But they didn't, Yeladim. And so Hashem spoke to Moshe, and Hashem said, Moshe, I've heard they're crying for no reason. I've heard that they don't believe in me or have faith and have Emunah in me. So this is what I will do. All the Jewish people, I will punish all the Jewish men who cried and who were sad and who didn't want to go to Eretz Yisrael. And that is everybody, except for Yoshua ben Nun and Caleb ben Yefunah, because they believed in me the whole time and they knew that I would bring them in and they were happy to go. They will go into Eretz Yisrael. But the other men who were crying and screaming will not go into Eretz Yisrael. They will have to stay in the desert. And for many years, you will all have to stay in the desert now. I was going to take you to Eretz Yisrael right away. And when you entered, all the people who were like your enemies, they would run away. That you wouldn't even have to fight them. But now, it can't be like that. Because of how the people acted, You will have to stay in the desert until all those people get very old and they pass away. And then, do you know who's going to go into Eretz Yisrael? Their children. That's right. The children, the Yeladim, because they're not guilty. They believed in me. They didn't cry. They didn't scream. They will grow up and they will go into Eretz Yisrael when they're grown-ups. And Kalev ben Yefunah and Yoshua ben Nun, but not any of the other men. They will not go into Eretz Yisrael. In case you're wondering about the women, Yeladim, the women believed in Hashem. They didn't have a problem. So the women some of them would enter Eretz Yisrael, but not the men. And that was a very sad day when the Jewish people heard that. They cried and they cried and they cried. This time for real. They said, why didn't we believe in Hashem? Moshe Rabbeinu, we're so sorry. Why didn't we believe in Hashem? Oh, that was so sad. And Hashem said, no, you may not enter the land, only the ones that I've said and your children. So Yeladim, that is the story of the Meraglim. And we have to learn a lesson from that. So maybe you can think of a lesson we could learn from that story. Maybe we can talk about it one day, about the lessons to learn from the story. We have to have Emunah in Hashem. We have to have Bitachon in Hashem and know that Hashem is taking care of us and leading us in the right way. And we have to make good choices. Okay? So I hope that you enjoyed that part of Parshat Shlach Lcha. And I will see you again soon. Have a great